Joining me now is Adriaan de Lange of Omnia Group MD to tell us more. So overall, fairly happy that you say agriculture has been your driving force, but with some disappointment.
Yes, I think overall we've landed a reasonable performance in the situation. The South African economy is still putting us under a lot of pressure, so from our side, even, I think we could have done a lot better. But I think we need a lot of structural changes in our economy in South Africa to be able to drive growth in all our different industries. And that's why we're looking at internationalizing our business.
And you said it was prices was the problem.
Well, local farmers are under pressure because of low crop prices, and therefore they're putting that pressure onto us.
And what about costs as well in the agricultural side? Are they going up all the time?
Exactly. That's the issue with manufacturing in South Africa, and we can look at the manufacturing index in South Africa. It's under pressure because costs keep on going up, and we are still part of a global village, and you have to compete with international prices. And some other countries are a lot more efficient and effective than what I guess we are.
How likely is it that you might have to go through this terrible cost-cutting exercise that a lot of companies are doing right now?
We have been quite good in the last few years to preempt some of the difficulties we faced and to change our business. We've recently approved a new operating model in a group strategy and structure, which really involves us learning more from our local customers, but expanding that IP into international markets. And the whole reason why we do that is to try and diversify our business so that we don't have to get into the situation of having to cost cut. But obviously, we have got big manufacturing assets in South Africa, and if you can't grow your volumes on a long-term basis, then it might lead to that. Like I say, hopefully, we still have some opportunities, and we still believe we can expand our capabilities and sweat our assets, and therefore not have to do that.
Now, one of the disappointments in your figures has been mining. You supply underground explosives in the mining industries. Yeah, how has that been hit by the uncertainty over the last half a dozen years or so?
I would say there's, in the last year, a slight uptick in South Africa, but nothing compared to what we see in the rest of the world. So mining stays under pressure in South Africa, and one of the fundamental problems is the reinvestment in mining, which is slowing down, and that's not something that will start happening overnight. It will take quite a bit of time for people to start reinvesting in our mining industry, and until that happens, I guess we will all be under a lot of pressure in the region.
Give us a bit of detail. How have you seen it, this slowdown in investment? I mean, somebody once I interviewed who did water pumps. He said people are repairing them. They're not bothering to buy new ones.
Yeah, so I mean, mines, you can keep on mining the existing shafts, but if you don't, drill new ones, then the efficiency of the mines reduce. And obviously, in our business being in mining explosives, we're also dependent on new shafts being sunken because it uses more explosives than existing shafts and so forth. So, and then it spills over into manufacturing, which spills into our chemicals business, which remains under pressure as well.
And the mining charter, I mean, the minister says it's going to be gazetted by the end of next month. They say they're nearly there. What's your feeling about it?
I really hope we can cross that impasse and get some certainty into the mining industry, and also make the mining industry in South Africa competitive again. What I read in the press, however, seems like we've still got some way to go to get there, which is really a concern. The quicker we can resolve it, the quicker we can get back on track, and even then I think it will take us some time.
Even as a supplier, would these procurement targets, they would affect you as well in the new draft of the mining charter?
For sure, that puts a lot of pressure. Omnia has done quite well. We are now a B level 3. We were a level 5 before, and we're doing a lot more work on that front, but it remains a challenge, and there's obviously different targets being set for mining companies than for general companies outside there, so which puts more pressure onto us as a supplier to mines.
And also, I mean, do you think that once the mining charter has been sorted out and finalised at the very least, do you think it might cause an uptick in investment? Now people know where the playing field is.
I think certainty will generally lead to investment. My feeling is it will take a little bit longer. I don't think we change these structural issues around very quickly. There's also obviously other things other than the mining charter, like employment and so forth, and skills, which has to be resolved.
So looking to the future now with your business, what do you think are the biggest problems you're going to have to face in the coming year?
I think we're going to see still slow growth in South Africa. So for Omnia, our strategy is to internationalize the business. And so our biggest focus is on governance, making sure that we put the right governance in place for a proper global business. We're now integrating our new acquisitions. Oro Agri is a very international business, very exciting business for us, a lot of synergies. But I would say that our focus is on bedding down our acquisitions, bedding down our governance in these international markets. A lot of companies get it wrong. And in South Africa, we are ready. If there's an uptick, we will be there. And even in places like Zimbabwe, we've got large existing businesses. And I think there's a potential there to also resolve some long-standing issues. When that happens, we will be there.
So looking to the future, I mean, what about investment for yourself overall in the business? You mentioned about the mining side. It's a problem for the whole industry. But what about Omnia? Are you looking to invest in the next year?
We've invested quite heavily in the last year with our acquisitions. There's a couple of small ones and also some large ones, being Oro Agri and Umongo Petroleum. And we are busy investing 670 million rand in a new nitrophosphate plant, which is our own technology, that we are expanding our capacity. And that plant should be up and running in the first quarter of next year. And it will give us a lot of financial benefits in terms of our margins in agriculture. It's a much cleaner production technology than the alternatives, which is phosphoric acid. And it provides us with agronomic benefits and the ability to further differentiate our products.